comic books made more sense. You know it is fictitious without pretense.
Hi, today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers the Movie Issue 1, the first part of a 3-issue limited series that was adapting Transformers the Movie back in 1986-87, around there. These comics sort of passed me by when I was a kid. I was more into the regular series and the Headmasters 4-issue miniseries, which I adore. But reading these now, I love Marvel movie adaptations, or movie adaptations in general for comic books, but Marvel ones were fun because they were based on older scripts, and they just seem to put a lot into them. This one, the art is a little lacking, but I know that when I guess it's because they didn't really know what to do with like the robots and stuff. When they did things like Dune and like Raiders of the Lost Ark, the characters look more illustrated than anything else. They look like very realistic portrayals of the actors themselves, especially when they had the likeness rights for them. Not so much for Encounters of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That one, that one they couldn't get the rights to. This is very interesting because Marvel had a lot to do with the movie and the show as well. So let's dig into this, and we're going to take a look at maybe some of the differences between this comic and Transformers the Movie. So this is issue 1. This is the first third of the movie. Here you see Ultra Magnus and Arcee and Cup and Springer and Bumblebee and Hot Rod and all the Decepticons here. You've got an Insecticon back here. You've got Cyclonus, and you've got Galvatron, etc. And basically Unicron up here. This is sort of like the poster, not really, but yeah, you got Ultra Magnus here. So if you didn't know who Ultra Magnus and all these guys were, like, what is this, right? Because they were introduced with that movie. The M&Ms commercial. This is when they're getting into more illustrated looking ads in comics, instead of the verbose, crazy looking like ads. This is more cartoony, and what I'm more used to from my day and when I was reading comics as a kid. So here's the planet that gets devoured by Unicron in the opening scene, and these guys are Transformers themselves. So this guy turns into a ship, and that's how he escapes. In the movie, they're escaping in ships that they're in, right? So anyways, guys getting melted and stuff. It's crazy. And Unicron then destroys and he's after one of the moons of Cybertron. He's like almost there. So there he is in all his glory. But the characters still look like they do in the movie. Like these guys, these unfortunate guys. So here you've got Ironhide and Bumblebee about to take off in their ship. Optimus Prime has the same sort of exchange he does with Ironhide here. And Ironhide goes off to the ship. Here you've got a Lazer Tag commercial, very comic booky. Has nothing to do with the Lazer Tag Academy cartoon, but it does have the same logo. By the summer of '86, the game of tag had changed forever, you know. There's still a Lazer Tag parlor up by me. It's not Lazer Tag, it's called something else, but they still do this kind of thing every now and again. You might have one close to you where people shoot each other with lights and whatnot, and you wear a receiver that like beeps when you get hit. So here's Spike and Bumblebee, and they're taking off the same as they did in the movie. And you've got Laserbeak, who's recording all this. Chocolate Bonkers, I don't think I ever had the pleasure. I don't know if Bonkers still around anymore. Bonkers is a kind of a big thing. I think Starburst kind of took over from them. So here you have the same exchange that you had in the movie, where Laserbeak tells Megatron of all their plans, and here the Decepticons will go into the Autobot ship and just murder everybody. So it's the same people that get murdered in the movie. So you've got Brawn, you've got Prowl, you've got Ratchet, and you've got Ironhide, so he gets shot in the chest. And I don't think he gets, like, shot in the head later, like such heroic nonsense or whatever, and he shoots him. But here, you've got the exchange with Megatron and Starscream. It's like Starscream's like, what's the point of this? And he's like, oh, patience. We're going to go and we're going to use this as a Trojan horse to get into Autobot City. So meanwhile, Daniel and Hot Rod are fishing. That's cool. And here, they explain what Autobot City is. A wondrous base of operations that the Autobots have constructed and inhabited since they've first started battling the Decepticons on Earth more than 20 years earlier. Autobot City confused me in the movie. I thought it was supposed to be Metroplex. And I guess it's not, because in the movie he doesn't turn into a big thing or anything. It's called Autobot City, and its transformation is it turns into a battle mode that's pointless because the Decepticons tear right through it. So I don't know. It's sort of weird. Later on, Metroplex is termed to be a city as well. So I never understood that. So here it is, like it looks in the movie actually. And here's Hot Rod carrying Daniel there to Lookout Mountain. And so they're going to take a look at this ship that's got the Decepticons on it, but they see the Decepticons like just leaving the ship rather than the ship flying, and they're flying out of it. So Decepticons attack them, and Autobot City's under attack. There's no real encounter with Cup here, like going through Cup's barricade and everything. Here you see Springer and Arcee readying the big catapult thing into position and transforming Autobot City. So here they are transforming Autobot City. The towers and buildings of the city pivot and retract, withdrawing like periscopes, turning and vanishing into steel shield coverings as Fortress Maximus nears its awesome completion. So they call it Fortress Maximus in this comic. So it's not Metroplex, it's Fort Max, but it's not Fort Max. It seems to be its own thing. Fort Max in the cartoon, of course, turned up in Rebirth, the last 3-parter, right? And of course in Headmasters, the Japanese continuation. So here the Decepticons are attacking Autobot City. And here Devastator is formed. And Devastator does his thing. He destroys this wall here. And Optimus is carrying the Dinobots there. And he's like, go get, like Devastator. So here the Dinobots attack Devastator. I love these. If you watch this channel, you probably love this too. These Saturday morning previews were great, and especially when they did the 2-page spreads like this. In the 80s, I feel like Saturday morning cartoons sort of peaked. It was it had more eyeballs on it than usual, a lot of attention paid to it, and they had these big spreads in comics around this time. So this is advertising NBC. Kissy Fur, which I never watched. They always looked stupid to me. Gummy Bears, of course. Gummy Bears, I think, has the distinction of being the very first animated series Disney made. It's one of the good things that Michael Eisner did. He tried to modernize Disney for the time, and he's like, we're into animation. How come we don't have TV cartoons? What are you doing? So Gummy Bears was their first one, not a Mickey Mouse thing or DuckTales or anything. It was Gummy Bears. Great show, by the way. Smurfs continuing their reign of power during the 80s. They ran for something like 9 seasons. Punky Brewster. It's funny, for a while the cartoon intro was the only intro you could get when you typed in Punky Brewster in YouTube. And you couldn't get the actual intro of the sitcom which it was based on. Salil Moonfry as a cartoon kid here. The Chipmunks, they were white hot at the time too. Here's Alvin off screen for some reason. But yeah, the Chipmunks were massive. They had a theatrical movie no one watched, and then of course had 4 live action movies 20-something years later. Foo-Fur always looked like crap to me. I never watched it. I love Kid Video. It'll never be released on any format because they used all of the popular music of the time, and it's just you can't license all that stuff. And the one to grow on were of course little 30-second life lessons with sitcom stars and stuff that would air during the commercial breaks. Alright, so Devastator is devastating the Dinobots, and Optimus Prime's like, I gotta take matters into my own hands. I love this transformation. This is the toy, with the flat platform for the head that flips and everything, and that's the toy. It's great. I love that. I love when they depicted the toy transformations in the comic, and sometimes in the cartoon, not often. So here, Optimus doesn't go through the gauntlet of Decepticons. That's more a visual thing. I think anything that's like a visual storyboarded thing isn't going to make it into this comic. They just get to the point. He has to confront Megatron, so here he is in the next panel fighting Megatron. So they fight. The fight is pretty extensive here in this comic. Here's a kick, here's a counter. Here, Megatron throws a thing at Optimus. Optimus counters with another punch or something to Megatron, goes flying. Megatron shoots Optimus, same as the movie. But what's missing, of course, is that Hot Rod does not interfere. And that was crucial to the arc of Hot Rod, but it might have made people not like Hot Rod or even Optimus Prime going forward from that movie. So it's just a clean fight, Well, not so clean. I mean, Megatron cheats a bit, but here, Megatron's fond of throwing stuff, I guess, at Optimus. This looks like a boot. It's not, but anyways, Optimus blocks that. Optimus, I guess, punches or something. Megatron goes down. Like the movie, Megatron's like, no more Optimus Prime, grant me mercy, I beg of you, you who are without mercy, now plead for it, I thought you were made of sterner stuff. As a kid, I'd never heard that term before. I'm so stupid. I thought sterner stuff was a thing, like you could buy sterner stuff. He means sterner stuff. Yes, I know now. So Megatron picks up the gun, shoots him. So it's Megatron's own treachery that fells Optimus. Optimus does the same thing he does in the movie. He does the axe handle against Megatron. Never! And he goes flying. Here's comics that you can order back in the day. I never did this because I was too young. But I liked looking at what was available, and sometimes I could see comics I didn't know about and try and track them down. And here's the sort of want ad looking stuff here. Newspaper looking stuff. Muscles. What's this? Learn how to be a detective, I guess. Karate stuff, etc. So Optimus punching Megatron. So they're both mortally wounded. And so the Autobots attend to Optimus. The Decepticons, same thing as the movie. Starscream kicks Megatron. How do you feel, mighty Megatron? Right out of the script, I guess. Astrotrain, transform and get us out of here. So here comes Astrotrain. Bigger than usual, and everyone goes into Astrotrain. At one point in the movie, Devastator forms in Astrotrain, and whatever. Scaling was all over the map with Transformers. So here they are tending to Optimus on his deathbed. Optimus is now going to pass on the matrix of leadership to Ultra Magnus. In the movie, that was the first time any kid had heard anything about this. So yeah, it's the same exchange. He's like, I'm not ready. It's like, nor was I, blah, blah, blah. When he was Orion Pax, that's a whole thing. Here's the Bullpen Bulletins. And here's his checklist. This is great, man. I used to go through these and it's like, oh, what am I missing and all that stuff. New Universe is an experiment by, one of many experiments by Jim Shooter where he tried to make a new Marvel universe separate from this universe, and it's called the New Universe. The conceit behind it was faulty in that it would have been successful now, I guess, but it was a universe where there was no magic or any sort of supernatural things. It was supposed to be more grounded. That lasted like an issue because, comic writers back then, it was like, okay, and then, then there's this sub-universe, and then there's, like, you get powers from this thing. It's like, whoa, that's not what we're trying to do. But, I mean, it's comics in the 80s. Like, why are you grounding things? So weird. I have some of these. They're interesting to read now. And, yeah, all of the stuff that was coming out at this point. Strike Force Moratory, I feel like that's an Epic Comics thing. Transformers the movie... issue 1, and all this other great stuff. Top Dog, Popples, crazy. This is all Star Comics, right? No, I guess Strike Force is not Epic because it's not in the Epic section. So, magazine, Savage Sword, and Marvel Age. Marvel Age was a comic format magazine anyway. So here comes the Matrix of Leadership, and in the oh yeah, slowly Ultra Magnus moves the Matrix into his own chest. So in the movie, they show it not quite fitting at first, which is sort of like a foreshadowing of what happens later. Anyways, Optimus dies here. Follow him, Autobots. Follow him. I don't think that happens in the movie, but anyways, so here's a shot with no text or anything. Everyone's gathered around a dead Optimus Prime. The coloring here is more just lighting. In the movie, he obviously turns gray himself. So here's Unicron. Same thing as the movie has a omniscient like monitor, like a cartoon thing. And no, not when I am so close, not now, because the Matrix is not destroyed, just Optimus Prime. So here's Astro Train. Jettison some weight, just like the movie. They all argue about it. It's not a very long argument in the comic here. Astro Train has requested that we lighten our burden. In that case, I say it's for survival of the fittest. That's the same as the movie. Do I hear a second on that? And then they just get rid of guys. Oh, how it pains me to do this, just like the movie. Wait, I still function. No. There's no one-up bet here. So anyways, right into the point, he encounters Unicron, and here he's like, show yourself and state your reason for bringing us here. And it's like, I want you to destroy the Autobot Matrix of leadership. It is the one thing that can stand in my way. The one thing, the only thing that can stand in my way, like the movie. You have nothing to fear. I have already crushed Optimus Prime with my bare hands. It's like, you exaggerate. The point is, he's dead. That's just like the movie. And the Matrix died with him. Like, no, the point is, you are a fool. So he tells him it's gone on to Ultra Magnus. And Megatron argues a bit more here than in the movie. No, you don't own me. Perhaps I misjudged you. Proceed on your way to oblivion. So, anyways, he goes, no, I accept. So he remakes all these guys. Now, even in the comic, it's not very clear who everyone is before they turn into Cyclonus and Scourge and all that. But here you've got a great panel of Scourge and Cyclonus. Scourge the Tracker and his huntsman, the Sweeps. The Sweeps look exactly like him, and Hasbro took full advantage recently by releasing sweeps that look like it's the same mold as Scourge, but like a different face or whatever. Cyclonus, the warrior who will become Megatron's ship. So in a movie, they're all in a different ship, with a U-shaped like thing. I think it's sort of like a variation of the Enterprise or something. He doesn't have his armada, which people have debated for years if the one robot that you saw in that shot was his armada. Yeah. And here's Megatron, and he turns into Galvatron. Great panel. So Galvatron, now go and fulfill your destiny and know that nothing can defeat you in this new form. A new day is dawning, a day when every Autobot will be hunted and slain. A day when all of Earth will fall into the hands of Galvatron and the Decepticons. So that's it for this issue. This is great stuff. Subscribe now for as low as 54 cents a copy. All this great stuff. All just classic Marvel rather than Star or something like that. Here is Dungeons & Dragons ad. Fantasy role-playing game, set 1 basic rules. Lots of verbose stuff here. Join over 2 million fighters, clerics, thieves, elves, magic users, halflings, dwarves, and dungeon masters on the fantasy adventure of a lifetime. This is a classic image right here. And here the classic Gumby and Pokey. What is this? It's Gumdinger? Yeah, I don't know what that is. I mean, there are a lot of things like this where there's a lollipop with gum in it, or maybe fudge in it, or something like that. I confess I never watched Gumby as a kid. I don't know when the hell it was on. Gumby was a big thing, and SNL made fun of it and everything. But I never saw one episode of Gumby. I know of Gumby and Pokey and everything. The merchandise for these guys was ubiquitous. Like, you'd go to any store and it had like a tiny Gumby and like different poses and stuff, and Pokey and all that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch some of it on YouTube or something one day. Anyways, that is Transformers the Movie Issue 1. I'll probably look into the other issues shortly. Take care.